Hey everybody. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the two-hole draw and getting a good clean note, a good clean two-hole draw. One of the things, I've been a guitar teacher for probably about 12, 13 years now, and one of the things that I keep coming back to in all the different instruments that I play several different instruments, and one of the things that I found is that with technique in particular, and getting a sound or a note or what it is that you're looking for out of any instrument that you play, it usually comes down to minor adjustments. Minute, smaller adjustments. We all kind of know the mechanics. I mean, the most, when it comes to this little instrument here, it's really just a matter of making. Mechanically, you're just putting the damn thing in your mouth and you're playing, right? So, I mean, you put it in your mouth and then you hope that you can get the sounds that you're hoping or trying to get. And at first that seems like an easy proposition, but when you go and you buy one of these things thinking, man, I think this would be a cool instrument to play, all of a sudden you find out it's very cool and I love it, but it's really kicking my rear end. So one of the things I wanted to talk about first was getting that good clean note, the good clean two draw, and vibrato, and opening up things to make it sound good. So the tone is, a lot of guys will say, well, tone comes from wood, tone comes from this, tone comes from that, blah 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 blah. But quite frankly, I think tone comes from you. It comes from the person who's playing it. It really doesn't matter. The materials will sound differently. You'll have a darker tone, or you'll have maybe a little bit brighter tone. You'll have the honk and the marine band, whatever. But the bottom line is that good tone is good tone. And it can come from any instrument, anybody. I mean, there's some guys out there that have made their name in playing some really garbage instruments, and they're amazing. Guitar, it doesn't matter what kind of instrument we're talking here. Without further ado, what I wanted to talk about first was getting the two-hole draw, the clean. It's probably the most important, in second position anyway. It's probably the most important note on the instrument because you're going to return to it. It is your base of operations, basically. It's quicker to get to the three draw, notes, the bent notes, and there are a lot of notes available down between the 1 and the 3 draw. The 1 and 3 holes, rather. There's a lot of notes available. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this kind of step by step. So if we're going to put this thing, we're going to buy this thing. I just went and bought it, and I'm going to try it out. And the first thing that I know is so I get that chord, and on a C harp it would be a G chord, right? So what I really want is I want that two-hole draw. So I'm getting all those notes. There it is. So you get the two draw. What I did was I played all those notes. You put the instrument in your mouth, and what you want is, for good embouchure, you should feel the harmonica right there. You should, or straight on, a little tilt. So what you're going to do is very minor adjustments in until the two draw is there. Once that happens, you're going to even out your breath. Don't, you don't force these things, man. They're tiny instruments, and I go to some of these things and you see these guys. I think John Gindick just put out a video. John's a great guy, man, and if you haven't gotten some of his videos or looked at any of his material, you really need to do it. He's a good dude. And he talks about fighting the instrument. He just put a video out about that not too long ago, and it's true. You go and you see something, and they look like, it's all, oh my goodness, this just looks like it's going to kill them, if they go any longer. What we don't want is we don't want it to look unnatural. I mean, it looks unnatural enough. But I mean, at the same time, breathe. Breathe. It's as simple as breathe. We've been doing it all our lives. So, when you play one of these, you're going to breathe from down here. Watch my shoulders. No move. We don't want movement. You might have a little, and it depends on the intensity with which you're playing. I was playing a very steady note that didn't require a lot of effort, really. But now, if I was to put some vibrato on. No movement. It's all coming from down here and in here. Okay? So what I'm doing is I'm breathing natural. I'm breathing through the instrument, allowing the instrument to be my voice. And then the vibrato, if you've ever sang or if you've ever done any vocal work, it comes from in here or in your glottal stop. I mean, they call it a glottal stop. So you'll hear like that. Whose videos did this? I watched some videos and they said if you go like this, so you're breathing in and you're really helped and it worked. And eventually what happens is you learn how to back off that and make it more intense and so on and so forth. Bottom line is when you first buy one of these and you're looking for that first note and you're really trying to get that two draw or clean notes in general, what you really want to do, I'm gonna Adam Gusso has a video, I can't remember which one it is, but he has an exercise that he explains. You should check this guy out. There's a bunch of guys. David Barrett, Adam Gusso, John Gindick, Ronnie Shellist, there's a bunch of Todd Parrott. He's on YouTube. Not many instruction videos with him, but he has tone like you wouldn't believe. And if there was anybody that I wanted to sound like, it's probably his tone. But his the vibrato is something you can work into, but you've got to get that first note. The exercise that Adam Gusso posted on one of his videos, he basically gives himself a beat on his knee, right? And then he goes for the two draw. So basically, bottom line is you give yourself a beat. And this is after you've got that two-hole draw. Give yourself a beat, and then you work it. You work the note. You work that one note, and you do it for a few minutes every day. I did this religiously, and I still do. I still work. That's a quarter step? Three. So you want that whole deep grinding kind of tone. you get the point. Minor adjustments, minor adjustments. Don't overcompensate. If you overcompensate, then you're going to get more frustrated. If you do get frustrated, get up and walk away. That's the bottom line. If you get frustrated, this thing is probably, again, I play several different instruments, and I can tell you out of all, to play this thing well and to sound the way you want to sound can be very frustrating, but it's also extremely rewarding. And what an amazing little instrument, and it's so expressive. It's just like an extension. For those who, I kind of look at it this way, for those who have always wanted to sing, what better way? What better way to do it? Other than actually physically singing yourself. Some of us sound like crap when we sing. I mean, whatever. But this is an amazing instrument. So, a couple of things. 2-hole draw. Minor adjustments. Start out big and then minor adjustments until you kind of close in on that note. No, none of this. No tension. Tension on any instrument is not a good thing. It means that you're gonna play tense. You're gonna sound tense. It's not good. So play relaxed, open. The harp should fall in here, and you should be able to. It should not be uncomfortable. Breathe through the instrument lightly, not heavy at first. Not heavy, because if you do it heavy, it's going to distort everything, and you're going to have a tough time delineating those notes, and they're going to jumble. Breathe through the instrument, nice and steady. Comes down from down here. Don't worry about vibrato or any of that kind of nonsense. It's going to come, and it's going to come a lot faster than you think. The slower you go, the faster you get there. That's what I tell my guitar students. The slower you go, the faster you get there. You practice on the nuts and bolts, and pretty soon you got a car. Okay, so I hope that this helps. I'm gonna actually put out I've got a series of videos I'm gonna put out that are a little bit more theory based, basic theory stuff that's designed specifically for the harmonica. I've been to a lot of these seminars, and I consistently see people walk out scratching their heads. What's a 7? What's a 5? I don't know what a diatonic, scale. What is diatonic? What is pentatonic, and why is that? These kinds of things. I'm not going to get too technical, but what I want to do is I want to make sure that people can actually, if somebody says, what is the major chord of C major? What is the major chord? What is the triad of C major? The first, third, and fifth, which is how this little bugger is designed. It's the C, E, and G. So C, E, and G, C, C, E, and G, C, E, and G, C, E, and G, C. Okay, so that's the major triad, so major chord. This is just some basic crap, okay? And intervals. Intervals, 1, 4, 5, and chords. Basic stuff. Those are the things that you probably should know. If you don't, and you get to a certain point, you're going to need to. So I'm just going to go over those things in some videos here coming up, and I hope that this helped. This is for beginners, and maybe even some intermediates that are, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I hope this helps, and if there's, there's anything that I can show or I can do or whatever, I'll do whatever I can. All right, guys, we're all learning together, so take care and keep on playing.